Bartholomew Buttons was a curious little boy who lived in a tiny village nestled between rolling hills and a sparkling river. Bartholomew was known for his infectious laughter and his never-ending supply of funny faces. But most of all, he loved balloons. He had balloons of all shapes, sizes, and colors imaginable. He had round balloons and long balloons. He had striped balloons and spotted balloons. He even had balloons with tiny faces on them, just like him. One day, Bartholomew came across an old, worn-out house at the edge of the village. It had peeling paint, a crooked chimney, and a roof that looked like a giant wave. The other children called it the Crooked House and were too scared to go near it. They said it was haunted by a grumpy ghost who didn't like visitors. But Bartholomew wasn't afraid. He saw something wonderful in the Crooked House. Not a scary ghost, but a home for his beloved balloons. Bartholomew cleaned up the yard, fixed the crooked chimney, and gave the front door a bright blue paint job. Then he started bringing over his balloons. He tied some to the fence, others to the door handles, and still more to the old chimney. As the days went by, the once empty yard became a sea of vibrant colors, and when the wind blew, the balloons danced and swayed like happy, colorful streamers. But Bartholomew wasn't satisfied. He wanted his balloon house to be the best house in the whole village, if not the whole world. So he went back to his room and got to work. He drew plans for magnificent arches, towers, and even a drawbridge. He cut down some branches from the willow tree in the yard and made balloon-sized windows. Then he got out his strongest string and started tying balloon after balloon to the house. At first, it was hard. The house was old and the walls weren't very sturdy. But as more and more balloons were tied on, the walls began to stretch and soon they were holding the weight just fine. Before long, Bartholomew's house looked like a gigantic present, all wrapped up with a bright red bow. And when he stepped back to admire his work, he realized he had tied on so many balloons that the house wasn't just the best house in the village. It was the best house anywhere. It was floating in the air. It wasn't just floating, it was going up, higher and higher. Bartholomew held on tight to the ladder as the house sailed over the rooftops of the village. The people below gasped in surprise as the balloon house floated past their windows. Some waved, others took pictures, but no one could believe their eyes. A house in the sky. It was a sight they would never forget. And Bartholomew didn't want to forget it either. He took off his shoes and let himself drift into the clouds. The wind ruffled through his hair as he steered the balloon house towards the fluffy white mountains in the distance. He flew past birds that chirped in surprise and sheep that bawed in delight. Soon the crooked house was a tiny dot in an endless blue sky. Then something wonderful happened. As Bartholomew sailed above the clouds, he saw something that made him gasp. Below him, nestled amidst fluffy cotton candy clouds, was a city unlike any he had ever seen before. It was a city made entirely of balloons. There were balloon streets, balloon houses, and even a balloon castle. All sorts of colorful balloons were used to build it. Round balloons were used as walls. Long balloons formed cozy tunnels. Spotted balloons made excellent roofs. And the magnificent balloon castle had arches, towers, and a drawbridge just like Bartholomew's plans. In fact, it looked exactly like his balloon house. Bartholomew had never felt so small. He looked around in wonder. Was this a dream? Was he really flying in a hot air balloon house above the clouds? And was that a real balloon city below him? Suddenly, a voice broke through Bartholomew's thoughts. "Welcome to Cloud City," it said. "I'm the Cloud King." Looking down, Bartholomew saw a little girl with wings made of cloud and a crown balanced precariously on her head. "I'm the Cloud Princess, and this is Cloud City. How did you find us?" I don't know," stammered Bartholomew. "I was just playing with my balloons and then my house started to float. And then, well, here I am." The Cloud Princess smiled. "It must have been the wish wind. It only appears when someone has a wish that's too big for their dreams." She looked at the balloon house with envy. "Oh, How I wish I could go to a place where there are no clouds or rain or thunderstorms or anything like that. Oh, how I wish I could go to the ground. Bartholomew knew exactly how she felt. He, too, had wished for something that seemed impossible. He had wished for a house full of balloons. Well, I can help you with that, said Bartholomew. You can come live in my balloon house. The Cloud Princess beamed. Oh, thank you. That would be wonderful. Together, they steered the balloon house to the center of the city. The townspeople cheered as they arrived, for the Cloud Princess hadn't been seen in years. She had grown tired of living in the clouds and had decided to visit her friend, the rainbow fish, who lived deep in the ocean. But now she was back, and she wasn't alone. She had brought a friend from the ground, a friend who might just help them solve their biggest problem. You see, Cloud City was in trouble. It was slowly losing its shape and color. The houses were deflating, the streets were drooping, and the magnificent balloon castle looked like it might pop at any moment. What's happening to Cloud City? Asked Bartholomew. The Cloud King sighed. We don't know. All we do know is that if our balloon city loses its shape, we will lose our homes and be scattered across the sky forever. We've tried everything to stop it, but nothing seems to work. Even my royal mustache is starting to droop. He pulled his long white mustache out of his tunic to show Bartholomew how thin and droopy it had become. Oh, dear, said Bartholomew. That doesn't sound good. He thought for a moment. Do you have any more balloons? He asked. The Cloud Princess shook her head sadly. We used every balloon we had to build our houses and our castle. In fact, we haven't had any balloons since the Balloon Fizzle Pop Festival 5 years ago. You see, every year we hold a festival celebrating our balloon city. But 5 years ago, the great wind snatched away all of our balloons. Without enough balloons to repair the houses, the city began to deflate and we haven't been able to fix it since. Bartholomew had an idea, but he wasn't sure if it would work. May I use my balloon house to make more balloons? He asked. The Cloud King and the Cloud Princess stared at him in surprise. But how? Asked the Cloud Princess. Your house isn't even made of balloons. Bartholomew grinned. It is now. He had spent the whole journey from his village to Cloud City collecting clouds. With his special cloud scoop, he opened the windows of his balloon house and dumped the clouds inside. Then he set to work inflating balloons with the softest, fluffiest clouds he could find. The Cloud Princess helped him tie them together, while the Cloud King stood back, amazed at the sight before him. It took quite a while, but eventually Bartholomew had made hundreds of new balloons. Together, the three friends went outside and attached the new balloons to the houses, streets, and castle. The Cloud King watched as his mustache began to lift. It was no longer droopy or thin. It was strong and fluffy once again. The Cloud Princess twirled around in a circle, her balloon wings billowing behind her. And Bartholomew laughed as he bounced up and down on the soft grass of Cloud City. The three friends worked until every part of Cloud City was brand new and beautiful. The next day, the people of Cloud City held a festival to celebrate their new balloon houses, streets, and castle. They danced and sang and ate delicious cloud cake until the sun began to set. As the sky turned the color of ripe blueberries, the people of Cloud City prepared for bed. The Cloud Princess approached Bartholomew. Thank you for saving our city, she said. If it wasn't for you, we would have lost our homes and maybe even each other. It was my pleasure, said Bartholomew. I'm just glad I could help. Just then, the Cloud King cleared his throat. Would you like to stay in Cloud City a bit longer, Bartholomew? He asked. Of course I would, said Bartholomew. But I promised my mother I wouldn't be gone for too long. Besides, my balloon house might start to sink if I stay up here much longer. The Cloud King nodded understandingly. Very well. Then perhaps you could visit us again soon. I'd like that, said Bartholomew. And with that, he climbed into his balloon house and began his journey back to Earth. As he steered his way through the clouds, he couldn't help but smile. He had made a new friend, saved an entire city, and discovered that if you have enough balloons, you can fly.